Hi there, welcome to Free Range Cottage. I'm Tanya, and here at FRC, we love to show you what projects we have going on at our fixer-upper, but we also love to show you things that can inspire or give you ideas for your own house. Today, I'm sharing with you, even though we're in the triple digits in heat here in our area of Northwest Arkansas, it didn't stop us from touring through a gorgeous garden that belongs to the Peel Mansion. And it's got, I believe, 11 garden rooms. It's got an herb garden. It's got a vegetable garden. It's got a pond. It's got it all. So come along and let's all get inspired and enjoy this tour through a gorgeous garden. We're going to start with this map here. We're coming in at the museum store. You can see there at the back. And going to go to the left for the vegetable garden and then go back to the right and loop back all the way around through all the different garden rooms. So here we are coming in where the back entrance is, and there's parking back here. I will show you the front entrance as we move around to that area. And going up to the log cabin museum store are some great garden beds. We've got lavender, which you'll see quite a bit through all the different gardens, edging it. Some things are blooming this time of year and some are not, obviously. This is July and it is very hot out. You can see in front of the store they offer handmade goods local. These little rosemary plants were really cute. In this bed we've got some yellow dahlias and some pink gladiolas. Very pretty. And I just couldn't get enough of the gorgeous shade garden, the greenery against that weathered wood. I thought that just had so much texture. It just goes to show, even without flowers, you can have a beautiful garden. And now we're going to go back around behind the cabin, like I said. And interesting to note, this cabin was an average size home for someone in the late 1800s in this area. So contrasting that with the large Italianate house we're going to be seeing in the front is an interesting contrast. So the garden beds just wrap all the way around the structure of the house, which I really like. Really softens the edges. And walking over to the vegetable garden where they say they grow a lot of heirloom vegetables and plants. Very nicely set up, gravel paths in between the beds. And I loved their use of natural elements for their staking and for their trellises. Something that I would like to use in my own small vegetable garden. And again, a lavender edge, and they've got some espaliered apple tree edging along there as well that I really liked. And this is the back of the house. This may even be a newer structure that they've added for offices and such. I'm not sure. But many, many garden beds. You can see that's where we were. And moving forward, you got some hosta and some crepe myrtle. And some of the paths are brick and some are the concrete. There's some really big, nice shade trees in this yard, which I can really appreciate this time of year. And now starting looping around in those garden rooms. We have a huge amount of lilies, the orange lilies here. And those are the Tigrinum splendens. And you can see the little spots on them that look like spots on a cat, on a wild cat, and where the Tigrinum comes from. And they are very happy in the sun. Got sort of an orange canna starting to bloom over here, and some pink crepe myrtles in the background. So sort of the tropical garden colors mixed in here, pinks and oranges together. Coming up to the banana trees, which is one of my favorite features. I believe these are a hardy banana, maybe the Sikkim variety, which comes out of the Himalayas, and they can handle a lot of cold, down to negative 21 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Beautiful feature there. Little hot pink dianthus. And again, the orange lilies in all their glory again. And across the way are the pink crepe myrtles. Lots of pollinators seen throughout the whole garden. Butterflies and bees just happily doing their work. Just a really enjoyable walkway here. And it's all surrounding, you can see, this pond that has the aquatic plants that also bloom pink, it looks like. And there were fish in the pond. Casting some shadows on this really sunny day. And lots of shaded area, which would be nice for picnics or events. I'm sure they have some events that take place here. We're walking up to now the rose garden, and they've said that they have a lot of the heirloom and David Austin roses. But what was really grabbing my attention were these white phlox in the distance that look like just snow sitting there. Absolutely gorgeous. And so cooling on a hot day. And then the white coneflower was really in its glory. This is a whole area of sort of a white garden. They have a large structure here. It's a huge, some type of holly in the background. And the daisies just come right in and look gorgeous. Some daylilies. Got just a few tucks of color here and there. The white gladiolas are a great addition for height. Just beautiful. And some repeated plants there and a nice bench. And again, there's that structure that I would think would be great for wedding pictures or even a small wedding, since there's some lawn there that chairs could be set up. And I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that it does happen here. Some weddings with some Dusty Miller with that gray added in. Always a must-have in a white garden for me. But then they had some yellow mixed in. Just a nice mix of delicate plants mixed in with the more hardy looking coneflowers and different pieces to the garden. I believe that's the cutting garden, if I'm not mistaken. Over through the archway, which we'll go in a second, is the herb garden. Here it is. And edged on two sides with some evergreens. You can see it's kind of full and overflowing, but then gets that little bit of formality with the four square setup and the boxwood edging. Oh, that may be the cutting garden across from the herb garden. But a closer look at the herb garden, it looks like a large rosemary in the middle there. I love the Swiss chard and the nasturtiums added in there. And nasturtiums are, of course, edible with the leaves and the flowers. And they have 4 pots. I'll give you a better view of that in a minute with some video. And there's the sundial doing its work. Here's kind of a better view of that 4 square herb garden setup. Looks like some purple coneflowers in there and trees planted in each of the really large terracotta looking pots. Again, a very nice path to wander down on a summer day. And there you can see all 4 of the beds at one time. Just love that setup. And here you're starting to see the house. It's a late 1800s Italianate. And it was Colonel Peel and his wife originally owned it. And they had 9 children, so it's a good thing they had a large space. And he also served as a U.S. congressman. But interesting to see the details on this house. And you can tour the house as well. It's all free to tour the gardens and the house and see how they lived in the Victorian era. Love the big porch. We're obviously approaching the front of the house here, and I will walk over and show you what that would be like entering from the front. As it stands now, the parking is in the back, and that's really the main entrance. But back in the day, I would imagine most people approached from the front here. And I would be very distracted, just like I am right now, by all these great gardens in the front. Again, have some evergreen edging to give it more of a tidy look, because the garden beds themselves have that overflowing, almost wild look. And you can see from the front there's a bike path and walking path that you can enter from, and there's the front of the house where you're greeted by purple coneflowers and a nice boxwood edging leading you right up to the front door. But of course, I'm going to take a turn in the gardens, and I could just see a garden party happening back in the day here. Before that busy street was in front of it. That was all their property from what I understand. And just strolling with your cold lemonade, enjoying the gardens. Lots of hosta. Looks like some hydrangeas there. And this really nice little pond, which I would be tempted to jump in feet first if I had all the Victorian garb on, as hot as it is today. But a nice little cool spot with the sound of water. And it's next to their vintage orchard, which is just what's left. Apparently they had a large orchard area and even sold some of the fruit. Were part of the apple industry that was thriving here up through, I believe, the 1920s. And these plants, these old apple trees, are still producing heavily. So someone is quite skilled at taking care of this little orchard, because I know it does take some work and some understanding of what they need. More coneflowers and lilies repeated from the back, and more of the hardy bananas mixed in, which is very appropriate to me for a Victorian era garden and home, because they were very into the tropicals and plants and bringing in new things. I think this is the Children's Memorial Garden, and then they have a series of arches here, but you can see the apples on this tree, just prolific. So nice. And that's another type of lily, I believe. I don't know the name of it. And here they're espaliering the more apple trees and creating this garden LA as those grow. That will be really beautiful. I really like the squared off shape to it. Very pretty. And even some of these very, very young apple trees have some fruit on them. So I'm really impressed with this. Just beautiful. And then I was drawn to the back here, seeing that bank of hydrangeas back there at the edge of the lawn. I believe those are new structures in the back there. I don't know if those were original to the house. But this is now a foundation and a museum, so they have to have their offices and such. But being pulled over to this oak leaf hydrangea is just thriving. And going down the path, I walked right through the sprinkler. I was happy to. And again, some lavender edging, which I'm really a fan of. And these limelight hydrangeas, which I love and are still on my list for my house. And that's going to take us pretty much around the whole way through this hallway. Past these is the vegetable garden again. So I hope you enjoyed going on this tour with us. If you love home, garden, and lifestyle inspiration ideas, then we would love for you to subscribe for more. And also be sure to visit our website, freerangecottage.com, where we share our projects and inspiration with you as well. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you soon.